the truth, then we have a problem. So my view is that the presidency needs to understand, and this is what Honorable Halwale said, there are many institutions that can talk on behalf of the president in government. He doesn't have to talk on everything. He doesn't have to appear all over. President Kibaki led this country from his home. I have met 3 ministers in President Kibaki's government who tell me that in the 10 years that Kibaki was a president, he only called them twice. He only engaged ministers when they go to the cabinet and when you are presenting a memo. But outside that, he would not call you easily. So we have a problem. And I hope the president is listening to me. That Mr. President, you need to change. And the earlier you change, the better. Talk less, appear less in public, and manage your promises. And that way, Kenya, we will not have this problem. Court orders must be obeyed. I mean, when you tell us that mambo matatu, and you threaten people, you don't obey court orders, we have a problem as a country. When you engage the country at an international level in agreements that hurt the people of Kenya, we have a problem. Because the constitution is very clear. Treaties must involve parliament. They must go through parliament, Mr. Speaker. That is not happening now. So, Mr. President, wherever you are, if you are listening to me as a leader elected by the people of Vihiga, I want to tell you, Mr. President, even as we reflect as a Senate, we also want you to reflect. And members have talked about changing government. I want to say, Mr. President, I think the first thing you need to do, assent to the IBC bill that is before you. The National Assembly has processed the bill. The Senate has processed the bill. The Speaker now has given a report from the National Assembly. The next thing, this evening, Mr. President, sign the IBC into law so that we start having an IBC in place. Mr. Speaker, overhaul of the cabinet. Most of the cabinet members are incompetent. Cabinet secretaries, most of them are incompetent. They are very incompetent. Today, you will hear a cabinet secretary making a pronunciation on a matter that is touching on another ministry. And you wonder, is this government not coordinating? The matter of reduction of government ministry, I think is logical. The number of principal secretaries is actually bloated, and I think it's important for the numbers to be reduced. Mr. Speaker, on another topic of budget making. Mr. Speaker, we know the President has written back to the National Assembly, referring back the finance bill. But if you read Article 115, it talks about Parliament. It talks about Parliament. We have been kicked out of the process of budget making as a Senate, unconstitutionally. And Senator Umtata has this matter in court. If you read the Constitution, it's very clear that Parliament includes both the Senate and the National Assembly. That referral of Article 115 talks about Parliament. As a demonstration of good faith, Mr. President, retract your referral to the National Assembly and send it to both houses, the Senate and the National Assembly. Because that is what the Constitution says. And even in budget making process, Article 249(3) talks about Parliament shall allocate adequate funds to enable each commission and independent offices to operate. Why have we overlooked this? When you insist on Article 109(5) that talks about introduction of the bill in the National Assembly. That is just introducing. Article 109(3) talks about